And joining me here today for the second day of Timonium Racing, and today at the Big T, the voice of Maryland Racing, Dave Rodman. Excited to bring together a really good card. The track is fast, the sun is shining. It's a fantastic day here at Timonium for the State Fair and Maryland's racing. Breaking things down, we get into race 1, and we also have the start of Frank Vespe's early pick 5. Really exciting racing card. Great way to kick it off.
Yeah, the Shine Again Stakes, the 8th race. Mackenzie, my top pick for Pistol scratched out of the Shine Again. It doesn't make the race that any easier to handicap. I think a wide open race and a great job by the racing office getting a field together for the Shine Again Stakes. Still a field of 10 in the Shine Again, 6.5 furlongs. So we're looking forward to that today.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, wide open race, really, really competitive group. And I just think you could go anyway in there. Plenty of value. You spread on your ticket, I think.
I did. I have a late pick 5. Frank's got early pick 5, right?
Yes.
So we got lots of stuff to cover today. Go ahead, kick it off there. Who do you like in the opener, half mile, and the first 2 races, actually, the quick half mile sprints?
Yeah, so the claiming 5,000 4 furlongs, they will be flying. I lean into the 9 here, but you take a little bit of a different approach. I just had to go ahead and assume that Ship the Goods on the outside did a lot of work last time out and might be able to just really benefit from some class relief getting in here today. You land on a different horse, though, in the 6.
I can see Ship the Goods. I mean, the thing is, he was in for 16,000 yesterday, scratched in for a nickel today, but he's 1 for 1 at Timonium, and he's won at this distance. But I went to the 6 in here, Aristocratic, the senior citizen of the field at 10. He's a 10-time winner, so it's all 10s here. 10-time winner for the 10-year-old, but he hasn't won in a long time. Last win, September 2022 at Colonial Downs, but at a half mile, he's about as fast as they come. So I think he hopefully will grab some speed to the inside of Ship the Goods. Could be quite the duel up front. Maybe they'll do each other in. And if they do, 7, Veselski could come to pick up the pieces. I really kind of lean to him as a top pick, and he's going to be the price in here. 20-1 second last time out to Love You Bye-Bye, who was in good form until the step up yesterday. Race 2 back at Delaware, very strong. 2 winners out of that race. He'll come rolling, but at a half mile, you don't have a lot of time to get way behind and make that big run here. And speaking of that, right, speed yesterday, I think we agree, was kind of the way to be here at the Big T.
Very much so. I thought the speed was so honest. It really held all the way through the day. And even the really strong closers, I just didn't really see them getting the job done.
Yeah.
So I think we both leaned into the speed here today.
Well, we leaned different directions in the open. I went 6-9, 7-1, and Mackenzie 9-1, 5 and 3. How about race 2? Another half mile dash. Scratch the 7, Sir Mick in there.
Yes, and for here, I sort of similarly aligned with the 3 and the 4, just opposite orders. I really leaned into the 3, thinking this is one who comes out of 2 really good efforts, just is going to benefit from being on the inside, getting a little bit of a ground-saving trip in this early dash. Has a nice gate piece for me, and so I lean into that a little bit as far as getting out quickly. You lean towards the 4, though. I can understand 2 or 3 of the family have been 2-year-old winners, very much a dirt sprinting family. Last 2 works from the gate looked really good as well. How did you end up splitting this up?
That's pretty much the second line. The Dam has produced 4 winners. I like the works, 2 bullet works out of 7 published workouts. And the fact that he's got some gate schooling going in his direction. I know a little bit Risky's fast, got a little more experience. I just got a feeling that this horse is going to be okay out of the gate. A winning family here, too. So I went 4 over 3. Could have gone the other way. Going to probably use both of those there in the early sequences. 4, 3, 6, and 5 for me. Kitty's Son at a half mile. Don't know if he's got that kind of speed, but perhaps in number 5, Fear Nothing. Same there. Coming off a 6 furlong effort where he was no match for a going away winner who was really kind of lone lick with a change of equipment and El Mayo there for Ham Smith. How about Hammy yesterday getting a win, nabbing my top pick? Oh, I loved the Ness horse at the wire. I forgot the name of the horse.
My Parker-ness?
Yeah. Well, what a race, though. Big effort there from all involved in the feature.
Definitely made me think twice. Hammy Smith does know his way around Timonium, so it Coming into today, I think I gave a little bit of extra credit just on that alone. His horse ran really, really well.
Talk about one who was able to take a second look there with Barbosa aboard, but that's bygones. All right, let's go. Race number 3.
Moving on, race number 3, we get into stretching it out a little bit to the 6.5, still going 2 turns around here at Timonium, claiming 5,000, non-winners of 2.
And a wide open race, as evidenced by our picks. We're kind of all over the map here.
We spread out a little bit.
Just boxes 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11. Yeah, right, sure. You got the 10 on top. I had enough.
And yeah, so I go with the 10 on top. For me, I really just thought this was one who was going to be able to take a step forward here. Hasn't quite had enough. Leaning into the speed in other places for the day. This is one who we've seen flashes of it. I thought might be able to get back to that, especially being towards the outside. You go with the 6 on top, though, in Street Tough. I can completely understand this.
You're dropping in the nickel, right? Non-winners of 2 drop. And I thought his last race probably needed it. Drafted back a little bit off the pace there at Laurel at a race that was taken off the turf. If he runs back to any of his races on the way back for him, he's going to be a factor in this spot. I don't think he's got to have the lead in here. I think he'll sit like a pretty good trip within a couple of lengths of the pace, maybe 3 or 4 off the lead. I had a little trouble with the race and really loving anyone. Coronation Time, there's a Hammy Smith, J.G. Torrealba, a combination, always a hot combo, 2 races back. 3 winners out of that race. The winner, Ascribe, came back to win. Coronation Time obviously came back to break maiden, and another horse out of the money. So a triple key race really from Coronation Time 2 back.
Absolutely, and that's one who just has had some troubled trips, especially kind of getting out of the gate. I can understand adding a bit of ground to maybe change those dynamics, but I think ultimately just runs really well at this distance, and I think should get a much better trip today. I obviously lean in and use this one, and Torrealba, I think, has shown some really good improvements with this horse lately.
Blinkers were added to photo hop number 4 last time out. Prompted the pace in that race against, I think, what was a much tougher group. This horse came on the scene back in 2023, debut running for maiden 10 with a really nice effort, upsetting at 32-1. He had a quick burst of energy at the 5/16 pole over at Laurel. I haven't seen that kind of burst of energy from him since then. He's run a couple of good races, but if he sits that trip today and can have that same kind of burst with a little drop in class here, he's going to be dangerous at a decent price, 8-1 on Keith Fustel's morning line.
Absolutely, and I end up using the 4 photo hop. I kept an interest in some of my later selections that I send in, and this is one who I definitely was tempted to lean into, so I'm glad to see that someone else is playing with this one as well. You maintain him in your picks, but rolling right along to race 4 is another one going, the 6.5, a claiming 5,000. I think another one where we're a little bit divided. I go with the 6 on top. She's a nasty girl. You go with the 4 in G's Fireball. A little bit of speed in here.
Yeah, let's look at your pick 4 ticket. And there you go, only $12 ticket for pick 4. That's a nice, reasonable play.
Yes.
I think I can scrape together $12 from the boys in the press box to get that one in through the ticket. And I like the ticket. You're no single, but you don't go too deep in any given race.
No, I felt like it was modest. You didn't really there wasn't a lot of opportunity where I felt like I could single in here. So I go 3 wide in the first, and I feel like I capture that pretty well. The 2 and the 3 in race 5, the 3 being my top selection, but kind of hedging my bets. The 6, I go with the 2 and the 6 again. The 2 is my top selection. Race 7, I go 2 and 5, but I think if you want to be a little bit more modest or spend a little bit more money, you can add the 6 to that for an $18 ticket. But I felt pretty comfortable with the 2 and the 5.
I think the key to this sequence, Mackenzie, and I'll touch on it a little later, is Bandcamp, who's even money on the morning line in the 7th race. If you can beat him, and that's a big if, I think your ticket will pay decent here for the pick 4. But we'll get to that race in a moment. So you wound up on the 6. She's a nasty girl. I don't even have the horse in the mix, so maybe you could talk me into it.
Really? Okay, so I I felt like this is a horse who's very competitive at this level and just full of confidence right now. Has come from some really good efforts. I think had taken on some tougher company, got the maiden win at the maiden $30,000 level, not necessarily here in the Mid-Atlantic, but since coming to the Mid-Atlantic for the summer, has been pretty competitive here in this spot. I think last time had a tough trip, didn't really get the best type of run, but still managed to hold on and finish second just by a head. For me, I kind of keyed into that. I don't always love a wet dirt for the sake of comparing horses. I think sometimes I take away because horses can be a little biased to it. But for me, I just felt like the figures stack up well enough against this group that she might be able to offer something here, especially if she gets a decent tracking trip or she can sit just off the front.
Well, she certainly likes Delaware, right? Reeled off back-to-back-to-back victories, 3 in a row, till a beaten favorite last time out with trouble. Never tried Timonium. We'll see if she likes this track. I went to the 4 in here. Geez, Fireball. Trainer Gina Robb special with 8 to 30 days away from the races, 6 for 23 and a positive ROI. And again, leading to the speed factor, I think she's going to be forwardly placed throughout. This is kind of a race that goes through she, her, hers, the one horse. She's run against and beaten some of the fillies and mares she's going to face again this afternoon. She's the horse to beat, but since the claim, 16-16, failed, finished 6th, failed, finished 4th, though it was a quick race won by At First Sight and was engaged in a long battle up front. I think she'll be forwardly played from the inside. I'm going to go with a horse who can maybe prompt her and maybe make one little run at her, and that's G's Fireball. She, her, hers beat G's Fireball by 8. That was 3 back at Laurel, but I think to turn the tables today could get her in the winner's circle here, especially given the layoff stat for the barn.
I agree completely. I was really tempted to lean into G's Fireball here as well. I just thought that after the Gina effort that we saw yesterday, going 1 and 2 in the last, we might not really get much of a price. So especially
Rob Barn, Gina Robb, Derry Robb had it all wrapped up for the exacta in that race. I learned my lesson trying to pick a closer in that race, right? But anyway, that's kind of rubber stamped the fact. I think you had to be close here yesterday afternoon. Horse I kind of originally liked a little bit, Mackenzie, was a 7, Tina as well. And if they get crazy up front, she's only beaten 4 lengths by she, her, hers. This filly has a good late kick, demonstrated that at Laurel, but stretched longer at Laurel. She only has an 1/8 of a mile lead going. It was a frantic photo finish where she beat At First Sight, who came back to win out of that and running a fast race. So you see that running line with she, her, hers. So again, open scramble here in race 4.
I have to agree with you. I go ahead and use 7 in Tina. I feel like she's been consistent against this group, and she does just find a way to get a piece of it, which I really like, especially in some of these tougher fillies and mares.
All righty.
Rolling right along, we get to race 5, 6.5 for 16 for the girls again. Great day for the ladies out here, especially as we lead up to the stake. I go ahead and keep the number 3 on top in Beautiful Carla. You go with the 2 in Hide Right Away. Tell me about how you landed here.
Even before the scratches of Lady Charlotte and Peace Out, I was talking about this race with Keith Fustel when he was in the morning line, and I said, I got the horse for you in here. I think she goes all the way. That's the 2 Hide Right Away. You use your horse. I use this horse in the pick 5 ticket along with a 4 Enemy Number 9 to kick off that pick 5. It's a $48 ticket, not as economical as your $12 pick 4, but I think we can lead to a decent payoff today if we can beat Bandcamp at the 7th. That's a big if there. So there you see the pick 5 ticket. We'll throw it up again later this afternoon for you guys. But Hide Right Away, I think, is the speed of the speed. She's a fast filly. If she could replicate that race back in March, she was 3rd behind a very quick and in-form horse at the time named Twisette, ran against Berzina, and last time out, 5th at Charlestown, but against the 8-time winner named Hessica, who was the 2-5 favorite, who won by almost a half dozen lengths. I think she's faster than anyone early in the race. If she breaks, then she'll have no excuse. She's on the lead, she'll have no excuse.
I agree with you there. I actually, I kind of tossed the Charlestown effort for myself, not really because I thought it was quick back for her. And I thought she's run consistently. She's run really well. When we've seen her come back without the right timing that she likes, it's the only time I can really or feel the need to justify something. But as of lately, I think she's been really tough, and that should hold true here.
Beautiful Carla, your top pick. Beaten favorite last time out. We keep seeing this filly pop up, right, at first sight. Where's the follow-through for her? You know, can she beat the 2 to the lead? I don't know. Can she sit right off of it and pounce on her? Perhaps. Yeah.
I kind of lean into the ability to pounce on her. I think that she's the type who wants a really close tracking trip. She's not the one that you're going to see needing to make up a ton of ground, and that is the type of closer that'll suit this track today. For me, I just go ahead and lean into her. I think I was a little uncertain about Hyde right away. I went back and forth, and I thought there was not going to be much value in the 2, and so I just went ahead and leaned into the 3, who I think can get the job done. And some of the fractions that she's come out of, for me, she's run really, really good races when she is just sort of playing cat and mouse with the front end.
I can tell you this. The winner is on the screen. There are 4 horses in here, and there you go. One of us has to have something on the screen. But, I don't know. I'm just hoping that the 2 gets the break, the pop, and the go. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think perfectly reasonable, and she very well could do that. But luckily, you can hit the all button in your multi-sequence races here, and it won't be costing you too much as we end up with the 4-horse field. It will be fun to get to see these girls.
It's the kind of race where I think you just got to take a stand here, you know. So I took the stand with the single, hopefully it was single solo speed.
Yes.
I think it's break time, no?
It is. So we'll go ahead and head to a quick commercial and keep things rolling with race 6.
It's Toyota's national sales event. Swipe into end of summer fun with an exciting new Toyota. Whether you're paddleboarding in a RAV4, mountain biking in a Tacoma, or tubing with your best friends in a Camry, you'll find plenty to post about all summer long.
Right now, get a new Tacoma SR5 with low 4.99 APR financing. Or lease one for just $279 a month for 36 months.
Come in today. Ooh, like.
Toyota, let's go places.
And picking right where we left off, going the 1 1/16 this time for the optional claiming. This is a 12,500 for 3-year-olds and up. I go ahead and lean into the number 2 on top, 2-6. You have the same exacta, but 6-2. How did you end up here?
Yeah, I had morning thoughts on top, and then I had some second thoughts on morning thoughts after watching the replay on Mr. McQuaid. First of all, I want to talk about your top pick. I mean, the quality horse. Last time out, speed on the lead at Laurel. He was headed, he looked beaten, and he came back for more. Resurgent, you see there in the short comment. But, you know, those things happen sometime. Maybe when the leader kind of opens up with a false move, and then he can just kind of plod along and save ground, which he did, and then get up to win. But I like the way he won, Mackenzie, kind of like with his ears full. Like he wanted to do more. This horse has a lot of gameness about him. 2 for 2 now since the claim into the farrier barn. He's got 2 in here. Well, had 2. Zen Master has scratched the 3, the 4 Timbo, and the 7 out of here. So, yeah, he's going to try to go right to the front in here. I switched the picks after watching Mr. McQuay. So, yeah, I can see we have the same 2.
Yes, I thought Mr. McQuay just should get a nice tracking trip maybe in really good form. I also went back and forth here. For me, I thought this is a horse who's run some really good races, just comparing himself to the others in the group. Just a little bit more versatile. Another one who they waved the tag in here, same with the 2. So I think find really good spots for both of them.
Mr. McQuay gets Barbosa aboard, right? Yesterday, good trip to win the feature. This horse ships in from Delaware. His last race at Delaware, he made a very, very early move into moderate pace, 24, 348 and 4 out wide. Had every right to stop in that race. He didn't. He kept going, and it looked like right in the final furlong, he was just getting going. So he's going to like the extra distance here at 1 1/16 here at Timonium. The trainer took the blinkers off of him from the Tampa Bay efforts, the Gulfstream Park efforts, and I'm a little bit concerned that, well, obviously he's gotten them to win, but he was looking over to the grandstand a couple of times during during the race at Delaware, right? So I hope he's not too distracted by the Ferris wheel and all the action over there. I could see why maybe they put blinkers on him the first time, but he's done nothing wrong since the blinkers have come off.
No, it seems
he does
like
have a kind of an odd way of looking around a little bit. Yeah.
Well, hopefully he has plenty of time to take it all in the post-parade. I think as long as the zipper isn't going maybe at the time he's coming around the turn, we should be okay.
It should be. Brett Swirl in here coming off of sprints. Good win last time out. Chased a 6-5 shot down in the second flight while 4 deep was ridden to catch up. I think he's got a little distance in his pedigree, though some of his distance races leave a lot to be desired. That was from a former time with a different trainer. Got Lord Avey on the dam side, so he should be able to get that extra distance. He's kind of like the now horse in here, aside from Mr. McQuay.
I agree. I felt like I had seen a little bit from him, but just had a little underwhelmed in what I saw when he was stretching out. So a little curious as to how that goes.
All right, race 7, scratch 3, Rad Paisley. Another good race in here. And we're kind of, same horses, different order.
Yes, I'd have to agree. I think another one where we spoke earlier about Bandcamp being even money morning line, and how do you beat him if you can? This is a way to clean up a little bit, or Frank Vespi would say, bring your wheelbarrow to cash in your tickets. I go with the 2, 3, 6, 2, 6, 1, and 5. You end up 5, 6, 2, and 1. For me, I felt like Bandcamp is just in really good form right now, has held true through various levels of company. I question whether or not he likes Timonium or is going to be partial to maybe that longer stretch run.
He's done his work and his winning work at Laurel, 4 straight over there. The barn's been hot there April, May, June, but a little more on the quiet side the last 30 days. And I thought at this price, I'm going to take a shot at here with the 5, that being Uncle Cat. A couple of in-the-money finishes since moving to the Rudy Salomon barn. Second in a fast race last time out. The race before that was 3rd behind Kings River and Squints. Squints came back out of that race next out to win at Saratoga, or a $50,000 claiming race. So he's legit in here, Uncle Cat.
I absolutely agree. This is one who, my notes to myself are just, this is a horse who keeps really good company. I think the spot comes up maybe a little tougher, but I think he absolutely fits and can certainly make something of this. I wouldn't worry.
Steve, you got that horse second, and nothing wrong with this horse. He thrives on running, doesn't he, right? 8 days rest, August 3rd to August 11th. Last out, 2 seconds didn't bother him after he was second behind a very quick and talented No Easy Days is in form right now.
Absolutely. I questioned this horse in the quick turnaround. I saw him in person the past 2 races, and I just kept thinking how good he looked, and I couldn't change my mind. He's been really convincing. He certainly loves to find a way to get a piece of it. I love the way that they've stepped this horse up to take on challenging company, and he is full of confidence, so he really does try.
He thrives on running. July 7th, then to July 19, and then August 3 to August 11. Kind of short rest doesn't bother him at all. So get him while it's hot, right? He's been 1, 2, 3 just about every start save for that turf race there back in June at Laurel's. But we're on the dirt here at the Big T, so that ought to be to his liking.
Yeah, I think he'll handle it just fine. We do have a video in here. I have a little bit of a value play in the number 1 Car Ride. Just really didn't get away here at all last time out, and I thought had to do a lot of hard work. Just got pinched in here, and then I was amazed with how this horse ended up being able to run on, though. For me, I thought that they were traveling quite well. I know he's really stepping up to take on some tough company, but you see him in the 6 here as he tips out and just continues to really dig in and was super game. I don't think that's necessarily the trip that he's after or is going to be looking for here. The gate wasn't really his fault in that scenario. And it just kind of collapsed on him as far as the horses in front. And so at 30 to 1 morning line, I think he's one who could be overlooked, but he's shown quite the ability to run, has come from really good company, moved up in class after the debut, was second to Jay, who went on to win in allowance company, then landed a bad trip to finish behind Irish Heroes, maiden special weight win, and then 3 out next winners just behind that. This is a horse who I felt like just hasn't lost his nerve and just showed a lot of ability in what we have seen from him. So if there's a big price, that's one that I might be willing to play with.
Since that win there, Mackenzie, from maiden 20, he's come back and he's worked a lot faster than I see some of his other works in the form, right? 49-1, 48-3, comes back and works a bullet best of 38-48. So he's just getting it together. He was kind of a late starter, right? Didn't start till March of this year, but maybe finally now is the time that he's going to blossom a bit. This is a good race here. Bandcamp, certainly the horse to beat. I mean, what a terror he's been at Laurel.
I agree. So I go ahead and keep Cartwright underneath as something to play with, but it certainly brings a little bit of value to an even money morning line favorite. But
if you could tell me how the 8th race is going to run, the Shine Again, who's going to be on the lead, who's not going to be, I'd like to know, because this is a tough race. Good race we talked about. Race 8, our feature, the $75,000 Shine Again Stakes.
Wow, we might be able to find a crystal ball somewhere here, but I'm not sure I can tell you how it goes. I can tell you how I'd like it to go just based on the tickets I'll play today. But, I kind of see the 6 being able to really make something here. Kitten's Appeal, for me, I am someone who likes a horse who doesn't necessarily need Lasix. I like seeing a little bit of proof of that, and so I actually lean in here because this is a horse who doesn't run on Lasix, regularly holds New York company. Well-spaced summer campaign. I feel like they've been very mindful with this one, and winner of her last 2 races, just doesn't need the lead, but certainly can be involved and have a piece of things. So I think on top of that, the fractions stand up against the rest of these who we look at, and coming into Timonium, if they are going quick, I think this is a horse who could certainly be a part of it and might be able to be overlooked and bring a little bit of value.
I'm just doing a quick check here. Bruce Levine's been having good meet up in New York. I mean, ships his horse down. That's a good point. You're right. The no Lasix factor in stakes. She's proven she doesn't really need that. Barbosa gets aboard. A lot to like at her. Maybe overlooked her. I went to the 2 in here yesternight with the X-Man aboard for Lindsay Schultz. And what got me on her was a couple of things. Her comeback race at Churchill, she was favored behind Joke Cece. We saw that horse run, not in the money, but run Tri-Stakes in Maryland in her next start. And then last race at Parks, things didn't go well. There was a shoe repair in the paddock. She had a poor start. I don't know about you, but anytime I see a horse getting a shoe repair in the paddock, what does it do to their mentality, their makeup, their concentration? Sometimes to me, it just throws them off a little bit.
I agree. I'll reach for it. I do agree. I'll reach for it as an excuse for them when I feel like I can justify it. So it's very individualized, though. Some horses really ship well, handle adversity very well. Some of them aren't quite as versatile, aren't quite as flexible. I don't know for this one. I can't really speak to it. I certainly go ahead and do give the excuse of the shoe repair and maybe that throwing her off. I really do like this one. I didn't have enough room to use her underneath, to be honest.
Grade 3 stakes place in the Dogwood, though. It wasn't really a close third in there. Was favored, though, last year at Churchill as a 3-year-old in the Dogwood Stakes. But trainer Lindsay Schultz, this is kind of a special move for her. Third after the layoff is always a good sign for her, positive ROI. And there were a few things that said, okay, excuse. Third after the layoff. She's run well last year, favored in the Dogwood. I mean, she's kept some quality company, so I'm going to go with her on top.
I can understand it. I also like that she can be really sharp out of the gate. I just ultimately wasn't sure about the pressure that she gets today. We're still pretty spread out in our picks, though. I go ahead and use the 10 underneath. Out of the top 3, only once this year when taking on the boys and running into a bit of a troubled trip, just doesn't really need the lead and very hard trying. So I kind of lean in there and say that Outside might be able to just use her experience and is pretty sharp. But you also use the number 8 in here, Late Frost. This is one who I'm pretty excited to see today. What are your thoughts?
Charles Chanook, she was third last year behind Vava. We know she's a quality stakes horse. Second behind Intrepid Daydream. Again, same thing. Third back off the cycle, off a layoff for trainer Michael Matz. Kept good company and kept up with Apple Picker through the stretch. at Laurel in the ski pad over a muddy track, and then beaten second last time out at Delaware Park, but a good try. Her numbers, Beyer-wise, have maybe not quite stacked up to what she did last year, but she'll be prominent in this spot, and given the company that she's kept, I think she's a factor.
I agree, and we've landed on her in the same spot. I think she's very deserving of a piece of this and has run against some really tough horses.
The horse I wanted to pick on top, but I just couldn't bring myself to it, was Discreet Ops. 2 turf tries, but that race 3 back. Mystic Lake, winner last night at Charlestown. Stakes there. Against the grain of the track, May 17th at Pimlico. Was all speed, all day, inside speed. And this filly closed a lot of ground in the stretch after trouble at the start. Broke outward. A nice inside run, was gobbling up some ground against the grain of the track there. Discreet Ops. If they go crazy up front, and Discreet Ops, I think, is going to come rolling. Got a good inside draw. She can save ground. She can save ground if the speed goes. She can either come through inside if there's room, or maybe angle outside of any tiring speed. I think she's a real danger in this spot. I'm still confused.
I have to agree with you. I think they're all really good quality horses, so it's really hard to lean in and feel confident about a single one of them. I think it's going to end up shaping up to be a fantastic race. We're lucky to have this going on here. But we wrap things up with race 9 going 6.5, a maiden 5,000. And again, we get back to the girls. This was one where I sort of tossed. I can't tell you how many times I had to change things around. I just wasn't sure. But ultimately, I go with the 1, 5, 2, and 8. You go 7, 4, 1, 9. How did you get to the 7?
Because she's cost me money June 24th and August 1st. She's a stable male horse from her debut run, right? Maybe third time's the charm. I'm not going to give up on her, especially dropping here. She had a willing outside run in her debut March 16th at Laurel. Little time away, then was third in a short field, but beaten 27 lengths by a horse that won by 18. Had a little trouble in the race, and then beaten favorite last time out at Charlestown. Against this group, one more try, final try for 7 battle-tested. Old stable male money loser.
Well, sounds like it is worth the try. You're going to get, for both you and her, very deserving of this.
Well, I hope I get 12-1, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yes. Well, not if you put her on top, but I go with 8-ounce Mocha on top. For me, this is one who is the only foal of an unraced mare, 2017. And I have to tell you, I have this theory about 2017 mares where they were hitting their 3-year-old streak right when COVID happened in 2020. And so I kind of give an excuse for mares in that era. Okay. I think there are some who it wasn't worth putting horses back into training with uncertainty. It was just as easy to try and breed them. So I always make note when I see a 2017 mare. But Grand Dam was a stakes-placed middle distance router type. I really like what we've seen from this one. I get to go back to the 6.5, has been competitive at Charlestown. For me, I think is just kind of waiting for the day, inching a little bit closer to being involved. Isn't necessarily going to be the speed, but has handled an inside trip on debut. I think is just going to continue to step forward and has shown ability here.
Yeah, it gets a good inside draw, gets Boca Chica for Farrier. Really always a good combination. So from a bug rider to Boca Chica, who's done a lot. So we're way behind time here. But that was good because we had a lot to talk about, right?
Absolutely.
Anything quickly to add? I don't know.
Covered the last few bit of these, but really exciting to get going into race 1. Just the beginning for Shine Again Stakes Day here at the Big T.
I think I'll stay right here, give the changes. What do you think? All right, we'll do that.
Perfect.
Actually, like